So today is actually the March for Life. It happens every year. This year, it unfortunately had to be a virtual event due to all of the concerns with COVID. But it really just comes at a time when so much has been happening in the country with the new incoming administration. We've seen President Biden already enacting several policies or promising to enact several policies that have really butchered everything that Trump has done in the last 4 years to kind of bring Americans back to a place where we don't agree with abortion, but Biden is really, really in favor of it. He just rescinded the Mexico City policy, which, if you don't know about that, it basically enables the government to use taxpayer dollars overseas to fund abortions. And he's also promised to codify Roe versus Wade, which, is the very popular case in which they said that it was a woman's reproductive right to have an abortion. And so just all of these things have kind of culminated. And then today we have the March for Life. And so I thought it would be a really appropriate topic to talk about today. And I wanted to show a video actually. On Wednesday, we saw Senator James Lankford. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He appeared on the Senate floor on Wednesday, and he just shared a very, very powerful, very moving speech about the importance and the value of human life and the value of truth. And so if we can show that clip right now.
It should be baseline for us to be able to say if a child is actually delivered in a botched abortion and they've been fully delivered outside the womb, we should help that child get medical care. I don't understand why that's so hard. I don't understand why it's so hard to say some people are absolutely appalled by the taking of a child's life. Don't force them with their tax dollars to pay for it. I don't understand why that's controversial. I don't understand why it's controversial that when a child can feel pain in the womb, that we shouldn't dismember a child in the womb. I don't understand why that's controversial. I don't understand why it's controversial to some that if a healthcare provider who has sworn to protect life, that person shouldn't be compelled to take life in an abortion procedure by their employer. I don't understand why that's controversial. But for some reason, it is. Among our most basic rights in America, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. One of the most basic things that come out of our founding documents is these things are referred to as self-evident. Facts are facts, especially when those facts have a face.
Yeah, I really just encourage all of our viewers, if you get a chance, we actually did an article on that very speech earlier today. If you get a chance, I really recommend watching the whole video in its entirety. He makes a lot of really great points, but I did want to kind of talk to you guys about it a little bit. My first question kind of centers around the just absolutely horrifying statistic that Senator Lankford mentions, that 62 million abortions have been performed in the United States, which is just a horrifying number, and it's under the guise of being reproductive care. And so I wanted to I'll go to you, Joe, first. Why do you think it's so hard for Americans and for politicians to accept that abortion is in fact murder?
I think it's difficult because it's changing the status quo. Right now, it's if you imagine that abortion is murder, then it's an unconscionable thing that we have murdered 62 million babies. I think people know in their heart of hearts that it's not right, but accepting that truth means accepting a whole lot else, and it means questioning, what have I supported? I mean, how can I go about my life knowing that I've supported this horrible, horrible policy?
Yeah.
And the left keeps pushing these narratives constantly, inundating all of us with these narratives. And I think what Lankford said was correct, that it's self-evident that these things are wrong. But when you have Planned Parenthood not letting, people seeking abortions, not letting them see the ultrasound, not letting them see their child in the womb. And
that's propaganda.
Yes. Not teaching them about the reality of what's going on inside of themselves, that there's a life inside of there. It becomes a lot easier for those people than, for the larger community around them to distance themselves from the reality of it. Whereas I believe there's a statistic out there, I couldn't find it right now, but I think a majority of women who do see the ultrasounds before they go in to get an abortion end up changing their minds. So, you know, people just need to see the reality, and, you know, the left's going to do everything it can to keep that from happening.